Everybody, and welcome to day 6 of my 90-day challenge, Road to 300. Today is going to be my first really hard workout. It's got a training stress score of like about 120, I think, for an hour and a half workout, which is up there. Today I want to talk very briefly, about how I fuel for rides like that for hard efforts. So right now it's about 10 after 4 in the afternoon. So the meal that I would have had prior to this, obviously, is lunch, and I'll have dinner shortly thereafter. Typically for an event like this, you're not really going to want to do a lot of eating right before. You're going to want to allow that food to settle in your stomach for a little while leading into this hard workout. And I'll burn about 1,000 to maybe 1,400 calories, probably closer to 1,000 today, doing a workout like this. So having a few extra calories at lunchtime is really not a problem. So what do I use to fuel rides and recovery for an event like this? Well, I thought I'd show you a bunch of my baggies. I actually really like to use my own because I really hate having all this plastic waste, but unfortunately with coronavirus right now, they don't let you bring in your own bags to bag your own groceries, so I have to use these. But then I transfer all of my grains and stuff over to reusable glass jars. It's easy for me to find it once it's in my pantry. So, a couple of the things that I like to use. Pearl barley. This is what I had for lunch today. I like to actually mix this up a little bit. So pearl barley by itself tastes perfectly fine. You can find these in your bulk section at most grocery stores. It's just a plain barley, and when you cook it, it turns into small balls. It kind of pulls that moisture in, a lot like rice. In this case, today for lunch I had this, which has a very low glycemic index, which means it's got a lot of long-burning carbohydrates. It doesn't spike your insulin as soon as you eat it. So these long-burning carbohydrates will last me for a while. But I also, to make the flavor a little bit better, added some almond milk after it was cooked, some brown sugar, some walnuts, and some cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon. So kind of a nice fall hearty treat. Farro, another grain. Again, very low glycemic index. Both of these actually have a pretty decent amount of protein in them as well. So if you are looking for plant-based protein, these are great sources to go. They also have a lot of great soluble fibers as well. So excellent for the stomach, excellent for recovery, excellent for pre-ride food. I would not eat these too close, however, to riding or racing because, again, with all that protein in there, your stomach's not going to digest it that well. Speaking of protein, I love having fresh beans in the house, chickpeas, fava beans, black beans. You can never go wrong. It is Tuesday, which is typically a national holiday for me. It's called Taco Tuesday. So black beans like this are awesome. In a pinch, I do have some in a can as well in case I didn't take the time to actually make these. I will say I do have a pressure cooker. I gestured over there, it's not there right now. I got a pressure cooker, cooks these in about an hour and 20 minutes and it makes them phenomenal. But this is not a pre-ride food, this is a post-ride food. Most beans, that's the case. You don't want those pre-ride. There's more barley, I like barley. And then quinoa. Again, another whole grain. It's great for having low glycemic index, which means long burning sugars. Not gonna give you that spike. You can mix this with anything. I like to add pickled onions, some goat cheese. This to me is a good after ride food. The sugar and protein balance in here is good, but after a ride, you really want some of that high glycemic index food as well. So I will either supplement that with something sweet or make something that adds some high GI type sugars to it. In any case, you can add just about anything to these things. These are great blank slates for you to work with. You can add avocado, eggs to these. You can add it. You can make it like a breakfast cereal. You can add nuts and seeds. I've got tons of those as well. And we haven't even talked about rice. I've got a rice cooker over here. I'll give more details about that later, not today. But I eat rice all the time. Brown rice, very easy to cook. White rice, incredibly easy to cook. You can throw it on in a rice cooker before you go for your training ride, and it's done when you get out. Stir fry up some vegetables, and you've got yourself a great recovery meal. So these are my go-to foods for fueling. Of course I do eat meat. I'm not a vegan like I mentioned in previous videos, so typically I stick with chicken, pork, and fish. Occasionally I'll throw in a red meat, some sausages and things of that nature. But if you ever want to know, Having a 800 to 1,000 calorie lunch with grain as a source, and then vegetables or some nuts and seeds on top of that. Great source of energy. Just again, try not to eat right before you ride. If I did, I'd probably not be feeling too great in about 20 minutes. So there we go. Now let me get on to the trainer and abuse myself for the next hour and a half for your amusement. Okay, so I'm on my workout and carrying the theme through of what it is that I use to fuel a workout like this. On the bike, it's actually pretty simple. Electrolytes. I don't always do electrolytes on a trainer ride, but when it's going to be really intense, yes. And some gel, except this isn't gel, this is maple syrup. Sounds gross? It's not. It's no worse than any gel. In fact, I find it to be way better than gels. It's got a high glycemic index, so in other words, instant spike. And that'll carry me through. 1, maybe 2 swigs of that throughout this entire workout. I'll be good to go. So that's my fueling strategy for today's kind of grueling workout. 102 TSS for an hour and 21 minutes. Should be painful. You'll see me on the other side. Okay, well, that workout is done and it was hard. Now, the reality of it is, it wasn't that hard. Don't get me wrong, it was hard, but I was striving for an 8 out of 10, and I think I got pretty close to an 8 out of 10. Reality is that workout was 6 minutes at a time at my FTP, followed by 3 minutes of rest 5 times. So 30 minutes at my FTP. Well, in theory, I should be able to do an hour at my FTP, and I've done that very thing in 40K time trials. So was it really crazy hard? No, but doing that workout in an hour and 20 minutes and staying focused and doing all that on the trainer, I'd say it was pretty hard. And the reality is why I think that makes a difference is most of my trainer workouts I get done and I think, gosh, that was hard. And then I look at it and I'm like, well, I did 70 or 80 TSS and, you know, maybe some intervals here and there, but I don't get off the bike feeling like I do right now, which is I'm tired. You know, maybe I wouldn't say hypoxic, but, you know, fatigued, definitely fatigued. And I feel it. Where normally I get off the bike and I feel when I'm done with an exercise almost more energized, probably not able to get back on and do the same workout again, but kind of energized. While I do have some energy from that workout, I'm genuinely tired. Like I'm gonna go sit down. My girlfriend and I are gonna crash and watch probably at least 2 episodes of Buffy, because that's what we do. And that's the rest of my evening. I'm gonna crash. So I'm tired. Tomorrow's workout, it's gonna be a little bit easier. It's gonna be a lot easier actually. May just be like a group Zwift ride for an hour and a half or so, just to keep some consistency on my legs. Not go too hard, but certainly not super rest day either. That's Friday and Mondays. So anyway, my goal was to get an 8 out of 10. I feel like I got an 8 out of 10. And that's what I wanted. So cool. Next week, I'm gonna have to do more. I'm gonna have to do a 9 out of 10. What's that workout gonna be? I haven't know yet. I don't know yet. I haven't planned it out. I'm gonna scour through some more of Dylan's channel and figure out what recommendations he might have for building week over week. It may just be that exact same workout, but instead of 6 minutes on and 3 minutes off, it's 8 minutes on and 3 minutes off, or 6 sets instead of 5 sets. But we will see. But the idea is it's supposed to be harder next week, so we'll see what all that turns out to be. So anyway, that's the gist of it for today. Thanks so much for stopping by again. I appreciate it. Now I'll have to have some dinner and then crash and put my feet up. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Thanks. See you then.